Storage Wars quickly became a fan favorite when it first aired in 2010, giving viewers at home a glimpse into the high-stakes world of storage unit auctions. In each episode, viewers watch as cast members take risks, bidding on abandoned lockers in hopes of finding a fortune. Over a decade later, many of the cast continue to thrive in the storage auction business, while others have moved on to new ventures. Join us as we uncover where the cast members of Storage Wars are and what they're doing now. A husband and wife team, Dan and Laura Dotson, have been the lead auctioneers for Storage Wars since its debut in 2010. Dan, who began his career as an auctioneer at the tender age of 11 under his grandfather's tutelage, has decades of experience in the field. Laura, his wife and business partner, came into the fold later with her flair, famously concluding auctions with the catchphrase, "Don't forget to pay the lady." Although the show gained recognition within a short period it debuted, the couple departed from the show in season 10 due to A&E's budget issues. Their departure saw them go back to running their company, American Auctioneers, full-time. The couple did this throughout A&E's financial crisis, but returned to the screen when their issue was solved. However, their comeback was met with several health scares that are still cognizant of till today. First, Dan suffered a brain aneurysm, which cost the family money and months of recovery. Second, the couple almost lost their son, Garrett, to a shooting incident in 2020. Thankfully, the culprit was caught, found guilty, and sentenced to jail. After their return to the show, the lovers continued to run their family business. So far, they've auctioned countless lockers over the years, making them experts in the industry. Additionally, the couple runs Storage Auctions, an online platform that allows buyers and sellers to participate in virtual storage unit auctions. Dave Hester, known as The Mogul, was one of the most talked-about cast members of Storage Wars. He joined the show in its debut season and quickly established himself as a dedicated member on the show. Dave grew up with his father, a military veteran who collected and sold antiques. Inspired by this, Dave began buying and flipping goods from auctions at an early age. But, unlike the Dotsons, Dave's time on the show wasn't without controversy. In 2012, he was fired from the show after alleging that the series was scripted. He claimed that producers plant valuable items in some lockers to make the show look good. After receiving his termination letter, Dave did not give up without a fight. He sued A&E, reciting wrongful termination. The lawsuit led to some back and forth before it was eventually settled and Dave was allowed to return to the show. However, in 2018, Dave suffered a stroke and ended up in the hospital. His health challenge resulted in Dave having to relearn basic things like learning how to walk and shower. Luckily, he scaled through the hurdle and was able to return to the show for season 12. But the show's budget crisis prompted him to shift his focus from reality TV to his auctioning business. Currently, Dave runs Dave Hester Auctions, which focuses on estate sales and storage auctions. Up next is Daryl Sheets, popularly called The Gambler. Daryl earned his nickname on the show for his high-risk bidding style. He once paid $3,600 for the contents of one storage unit and found an artwork worth $300,000 in it. Daryl grew up in Southern California, where he was exposed to the world of buying and selling at a young age. With his little experience at that time, he attended storage auctions and was able to develop a knack for identifying valuable items from afar. Unfortunately, the highs he experienced did not prepare him for the lows he would face in 2019. That year, Daryl announced via his social media page that he had suffered a heart attack, which required him to undergo heart surgery. He remained with the show for the entirety of its 12-season run before the budget crisis. After the show resumed, Daryl chose to take a back seat and focus on his personal life and health. Although he is now semi-retired, as he fondly calls it, Daryl still shares updates with fans on Instagram. Currently, he has relocated to Lake Havasu City and gotten engaged to his girlfriend, who works for a horse rescue organization. The dynamic duo, Jared Schultz and Brandy Passante, did not just appear on Storage Wars, they also starred in a spin-off, Brandy and Jared, Married to the Job. Before joining the main show, Jared worked as a sales manager for a carpet cleaning company, while Brandy managed their household. Their story on Storage Wars began when they opened a thrift store, now and then secondhand, in Orange County, California. With the establishment of the business, storage auctions became a way for them to stock their store, ultimately leading them to join the show. Their time on the show was defined by their contrasting personalities, Jared's quick bidding style often clashing with Brandy's cautious moves. However, they usually find a way to balance their differences, and that was a big part of their success on the show. After the return of the show, many thought they would see the couple together in bidding wars, but that didn't happen. Brandy revealed in an interview that they went their separate ways in 2018. However, they're still working in the auctioneering field. Aside from that, Jared now runs a clothing company, Outlaw Apparel, and a restaurant, the Rush Bar and Grill. Brandy, on the other hand, continues to feature on the show while also running a podcast, Happening Now with Hammer. While Jared and Brandy brought a mix of humor to the show, Barry Weiss, the collector, brought his unique flair. Unlike other cast members who were in the storage auction business to make a living, Barry was in it for the thrills and treasures. Prior to his debut on the show, Barry had built a successful company that allowed him to retire early and pursue other interests. On the show, Barry often looks for odd and rare items in storage lockers. His approach wasn't always profit-oriented. It was about the adventure and stories behind each item discovered. After leaving the show, Barry landed his own spin-off titled Buried Treasure, which ran for 8 episodes. After that, he landed yet another spin-off, Storage Wars, Barry Strikes Back, in which he and Kenny Crossley reviewed their favorite Storage Wars moments and shared behind-the-scenes snippets. Unfortunately, he suffered a severe motorcycle accident in 2019 that resulted in multiple injuries. Currently, Barry works as a global brand ambassador for California's Sherwood Valley Casino. With a background in mixed martial arts and arena football, Ivy Calvin brought an edge to the competitive nature of Storage Wars in Season 3. Before his debut on the show, Calvin ran a thrift store called Grandma's Attic, which was located in Palmdale, California. He stocks up his store with valuable items from the storage units he wins. On the personal side of things, he got married to his wife Wendy in 2014, and the couple now have 2 sons. The boys often follow Calvin to auction sites to learn the tricks of the trade from him. Beyond the auctions, Calvin is deeply rooted in his small community. He participates in events to support small businesses and grow his community. After the show's hiatus, Calvin was part of the cast members who returned to the show to keep the competition as fierce as ever. Kenny Crossley is a heavy hitter on Storage Wars, and it's not surprising how he does that effortlessly. He was introduced to the business by none other than Barry Weiss. As a fan favorite, Kenny brought humor to the series. Prior to joining the show, Kenny worked as a deputy in the sheriff's department. In search of a greener pasture, he moved to Los Angeles, where he met with Barry, and the rest is history. At first, Kenny appeared on the show as a guest, often assisting Barry during auctions. When Barry took a back seat, Kenny became more prominent, becoming one of the main cast members in Season 10. Since the budget crisis, Kenny has embraced entrepreneurship full-time. According to his Instagram page, he works as a comedian, MC, and runs a merchandise line, featuring his signature catchphrase, "Kenny Do It." Aside from this, he runs Jackie's Famous Pralines, a New Orleans-based nut and candy company. Also, he owns a YouTube channel, Kenny Do It Adventures, boasting over 3,000 subscribers.